properties that don't get enough attention. But we did get the $42,000. We got to figure out some other ways to improve our community, and I'll be bringing that to the executive board at some point. Thank you, guys. Oh, wait. Last but not least. Noreen Kilkenny had a successful knee surgery operation. She won't be with us until about August. I hope she takes more time because, as you guys know, she's one of the hardest workers here next to Susan. But she's doing well. She says hello and loves you guys very much. She'll be around in August. If you guys want to give her a call or a text, I'll be happy to provide your phone number so you can wish her well. Thanks, guys. And Colonel Chin. That's Colonel Chin.
I know there's a criteria for 2 or 3 houses to have, I forget, 4 or 5 cars. What is the criteria for 10 and up for cars?
Oh, well, okay. So the regulation is for a 2-family home, you need 1.5 parking spaces. So it's essentially 2. If you're building a multi-story building and you have 10 apartments, you need at least 5 parking spaces. That's a regulation that we've had since 2 predecessors ago. Yeah, some people don't love it, some people love it. It's both ways. Yeah, exactly. That concludes my.
Where's the Grosnick Homeowners Association?
Villa Barone at 7 o'clock.
What is the address?
Uh,
Oh, you live around in Hollywood?
737 Grosnick Expressway.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. At 7 o'clock. See you there next Tuesday. No, not at all. Not at all. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Motion to accept the May minutes?
Motion.
Second? Andrew? That the minutes are correct?
Yes. Barring anyone who has any edits, corrections.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone to economic development? Economic development.
Okay, economic development met June 4th, 2019. We had a few bars for their renewal of their license. Filipino, Santeria, Ohana, Oshi. Is there any questions on the bars renewals? If not, I'll read the resolution. Resolved that the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee of Bronx Community Board 10 apply for a renewal of liquor license be forwarded to full board for approval. Portofino's Restaurant, 555 City Island Avenue, 10464, between Bridge Street and Cross Street, license 1140821, expires on 6/30/19. The Great Cafe, 285 Bartow Avenue, 10475, between Co-op City Boulevard and Ash Loop, license 1299476, which expires on 8/31/19. Ohana Japanese Restaurant, 500 City Island Avenue, 10464, between Cross and Beach Street, license 1166692, which expires on 7/31/2019. Oshi, 3799 East Tremont Avenue, 10465, between Schley and Randall Avenue, license 1269320, which expires on 8/31/19. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
All in favor? Can I get a second? Sorry.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, then the committee then went on to
Coconut Bar and Grill. They had a renewal for their license. There was a couple of incidents there, but the committee felt that when we addressed the owner separately, he explained a couple of new things that he did. People on the committee that lived by there attested that he's doing a much better job than the previous owner, and we passed the resolution. So does anybody has any comments for Coconut Bar? Okay, I'll read the resolution. Resolved that the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee of the Bronx Community Board that the following application for a renewal license be forwarded to the full board for approval. Coconut Bar and Grill, 2407 Westchester Avenue, 10461 between Zeriger Avenue and Roland Street, license 1166169, which expires on 8/31. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyone else opposed? Right.
Hand back.
5 is Stephanie Williams.
Any abstentions? Okay, so carried. Then we had Kennedy Williamsbridge Corp., which is looking for new license. They actually are the same owners, just like the father, I believe, is giving it to his son. So they have to apply for new ownership because they're changing the name on the ownership. This is a bar that's been doing pretty good. It's no problems. I actually had nothing on them. Discussion, anybody?
Can we change the time just to confirm, because there's one that says till 10 a.m. instead of 10 p.m. Can we just change it so that we can reflect it accurately?
Right here, Thursday, it says from 12 to 10 a.m.
Yeah, we caught that at committee. I guess we didn't catch it again.
Okay. Yeah, some of them say,
Obviously, it's 10 p.m.
Okay.
some of them say 10 a.m.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Tony.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Okay, we have Made in Puerto Rico. They're requesting one more extra hour. They're also requesting adding a DJ and karaoke. Any questions?
We got a lot of discussion on that.
Yeah, we did. I mean, like I said, we did have a lot of discussion on that. There was an incident that I tried to get more information about, but being it's an ongoing thing that happened, not at night, it happened during the day, and I still haven't been able to, because it's so new, I haven't been able to, John Serrata hasn't been able to get back to me or Matt. But like I said in the past, he did state that he also called Community Board 10, and he spoke to Matt on if he heard anything, if something.
Good.
Okay, so I didn't have, I wasn't able to dispute that or anything until I actually spoke to Matt. Matt did confer that he was reaching out to him. Matt also showed me a letter that he asked the police department if there was any incidents there that were major, anything of concern. He got a letter back from them saying that everything was okay.
No, yeah.
Okay, so, and I confirmed that with Matt. I also, from one of my board members who has a business in the area, that there was a lot of complaints about bottles and lettering and stuff like that that was always in that area. He said that they did a good job about cleaning that up. I do have a concern when my committee gets attacked for not doing their due diligence about a bar and we don't have the opportunity that we were notified. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going on if they don't reach out to Community Board 10. And if you don't reach out to me, I can't fix it.
So, with that said, I'll just read the resolution.
I do want to just point out one thing for those who are not a part of our committee, the Economic Development Committee. There was a lot of discussion on this. I don't know if you guys recall, this board kind of gave Made in Puerto Rico a second chance, so to speak, last year. And I think that, I don't think the resolution necessarily is bad. I just think it's premature. I think they came back a little too soon asking for extra time or for extra noise, so to speak, in terms of karaoke and any other kind of music. We still have to kind of deal with how they're handling the time that they have now. Part of the discussion that we had was last call and how they're handling last call now. I think it's creating more problems. It's good to see how they deal with last call at the hours that they have before we consider extending the hours. Additionally, the community members that came out about a very, very specific incident that involved employees of Made in Puerto Rico, not customers. So that kind of changed the flavor even more, because I'm a little liberal when it comes to people coming into your bar that you can't necessarily control. You don't know what they're going to do. And I don't really like the idea of penalizing the shop owners for, intervening acts of third parties, which is a very legal thing, but you can't always predict what someone's going to do. But this is your staff. That's a very different story, and they're now involved in litigation. So I voted no at the company level, not because I don't believe in this particular restaurant. I just think they need a little bit more work, and maybe next year we can consider an application for them to do karaoke and all kinds of other stuff. But right now, I'd like to see them work with handling the hours that they already have.
Thank you.
Tom?
Yeah, I agree. I think what was just said makes a lot of sense. And I also wanted to add something to that as a suggestion maybe to Made in Puerto Rico. My recollection is that they were supposed to get security that would, look around at what's happening outside, and also maybe on Haskins Place. It's unfortunate that they need security, but it seems as though they do. And I think if they had the security, maybe we would have had the information that we didn't have because the residents didn't reach out to us. I did, after speaking to Tom, reach out to them, and I wish that I had reached out to them earlier, but unfortunately I didn't. When I did reach out to them, I got an earful about what was going on. So I think there are still problems there, but maybe they can be solved with a little bit more time and maybe added security, which I think would help a lot.
As far as them asking for more time, they did have the allowance of, they have to wait a certain amount of time before they can file for SLO. They did wait that time frame. As far as they did not do it, they did say that they were going to put cameras to look down the side of the street, and they were going to have their security team actually walk down the side of their property to make sure that nothing was going on. They didn't do that, and I mentioned that in my minutes, so to be perfectly clear with that. As far as them reaching out to 3 a.m., if you don't want that, I think the gentleman was saying, do you want to okay karaoke or DJ? Or you just want to, would you want to do this karaoke and DJ? And do it to 2 o'clock and see how you can do with that? Can you live with that? All right, so in other words, we can do 2 separate resolutions for that? Yes?
I want to echo what the last 2 speakers said. The location is still a problematic location, and the neighbors on Haskins Street are still complaining about things that go on with the patrons of this location. And the fact that they claim to be a restaurant, yet they need heavy security, that's another big concern. I don't know of any good restaurant that requires security. It doesn't make sense. Something else is going on there, and we should not give them...
In all disrespect, there wasn't no incidents that they needed the police to go there, okay? There wasn't a stabbing there, there wasn't anything there. They had one assault, which It was a minor assault.
One assault
Two
to the resident.
disputes and 4 loud musics. If you look at a lot of the bars we had, this is nothing compared to some of the other large bars we had, okay? As the people in Haskin, I'll be honest with you, when they had the last board meeting here, and I'm not gonna go over this over and over again, we had the last board meeting here, and they reached out. Those people don't like this bar, even if if God was running the bar, okay? They don't like this bar. And they don't like the cars parking in their parking space. For the restaurant. That's a restaurant. So they just don't like it. The guy went to go get signatures, the guy says, hey, nobody would sign that paper. So let's be a little fair, okay?
Well, that's being fair.
Okay,
They
we'll go to vote. You
they
wanna
wouldn't
add
decide.
karaoke and
No.
two separate, or you just wanna vote? All right, we'll vote on the resolution. Okay. Resolved that the recommendation of the Economic Committee of Bronx Community Board 10, the following applications for a change of method of operations, liquor license be forwarded to the full board. Made in Puerto Rico, 333 East Tremont Avenue, 10461, between Paisley and Haskin. License 1309317, which expires on 8/30/2000. Change of method of operations is from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. Thursday, Sunday, adding DJ and karaoke. Can I get a motion?
Motion accept.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
I'm not counting the quorum, actually, sorry about that. 1, 2, 3, up. I see 6.
All opposed?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20.
Suspension?
Any abstentions?
1 abstention, I felt violated.
Okay, that's it. Hold on. I don't think, I'll do another, I'm sorry, I'll do another resolution for the DJ and the karaoke. Yeah, motion to do that. He's to 2 a.m., not 3 a.m., but just allowing the person to add DJ and karaoke. I think we should at least consider that. Can I get a motion for that?
To change the resolution?
For a new resolution? For a new resolution to allow adding DJ and karaoke to 2 a.m., just to their current license now. I got a motion. Second.
On the question, didn't we just vote that down? Okay, but we voted it down, and we do not want.
Vote at a time.
The time.
The way you read it was the whole resolution that included the
Right, so the previous vote, we voted no on the 2 a.m. to 3 a.m.
We voted no for A and B, this is just B.
But he was already voted down.
Yeah, we're already voted down.
It's the combination of the two that we voted.
Now, I just want to do a resolution for the DJ and the karaoke.
No change in time.
No change in time.
On the question again? We've had 4 loud music complaints, so they basically got, the first one they ignored, the second one they ignored, the third one they ignored.
Just vote no if you don't want to.
No, no, but I'm just saying,
Then bring it up.
in discussion. That.
And also on the 4 loud music, there was no action taken by the police department. So it was unfounded loud music complaint.
Any questions?
Resolved that the recommendation that the Economic Development Committee, Bronx Community Board 10, that the following application for a change of method of operations for the license to be forwarded to the full board approve, DJ and karaoke to be added on their license, and for 2 a.m. Can I get a motion to accept? I'm sorry. Can I get a all in favor? I'm sorry. Any opposed?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Abstentions?
Any extensions?
Need a political motion.
Same zoning?
The housing zone met on June 14th, and Andrew chaired that committee, so I'm going to hand it over to him. Thank you.
Okay, so the committee met at 7:30, and city planning had a presentation about a change for zoning in Co-op City from a C7 to a C8.2 on Baychester Avenue. This is a group of stores on Baychester Avenue. Currently, they have a C7 zoning, which is left over from Freedom Land, which is not applicable to the stores that are there. So, the city planning wants to make that change for that one block only. Also, city planning did another presentation for the, for coastal communities like Throgs Neck, City Island, and Edgewater Park. This has to do with raising houses that are along the water. And when they raise a house above 35 feet, the present zoning really doesn't allow it. So this makes a change for safety applicable, and it'll fit within the zoning. It's not going to be mandatory. It will only be in effect if more than 50% of a property is improved in that fashion. Then there was a third presentation. This was about City Island Avenue, 480 City Island Avenue. There's a temple there, and they want to add an elevator, basically, a lift between the first floor and the basement, and they need approval for that. So we have a resolution for that. So I'm going to read the resolution. Resolved at the recommendation of the Housing and Zoning Committee of Community Board 10, a request for a letter of support be sent to New York City Department of Buildings concerning the installation of a one-story handicapped accessible electric lift on the side of 480 City Island Avenue, and to be forwarded to the full board for approval. Have a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Second. Okay, on the resolution, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so that passed for the City Island, 480 City Island Avenue, and they can get the letter of approval for their elevator.
Thank you.
Okay, and we have one other thing on, under old business. At that meeting, Dorothy Krenicki, I hope I pronounced that right, pointed out that there was new information about the St. Peter's project, and the fact that there's new evidence for the Quaker cemetery, that there may be people buried on the land that they want to develop. And that was all.
I don't think I need that. I got a big mouth. The May minutes are pretty much self-explanatory. A lot of that carries into the June minutes. You can read the May minutes at your convenience. The June happened that were a little upsetting. The RFP for Truman had 3 responses, none of which were viable, which means they're going to have to reissue the RFP. The one organization that came to us for a letter, Montefiore Mishimo, was unable to submit because the principal refused to give them a letter. So we are going to follow up with that on the next submittal, on the next RFP round, and work with the elected officials and hopefully push for that.
Did the other two get them?
You know, they must have, otherwise they couldn't have submitted. 3 others, okay? And none of them were people we ever heard of. So I think she knew they weren't viable because none of them were viable. All right, so maybe that's why she didn't, I don't know. I don't want to, you know, judge it, but, you know, it's very fishy, all right? So we want to make sure that the next round, we get other people to bid on it who will in fact be viable. And do what we have to do to get the principal involved with it. The other thing was the science fair, which really was an amazing thing that District 8 did. They did an incredible job. So I had spoken with the superintendent, and she would love it if we wrote a letter stating just that. And the letter is here to Richard Carranza, Chancellor, and I'll just go through it quickly. Chancellor Richard Carranza, we're writing today to extend our congratulations to Superintendent Dr. Erica Tabaya and Deputy Superintendent Jennifer Joint on the success of their first annual District 8 Science Fair. The fair presented over 95 projects from the District 8's 39 schools. As chair of the Bronx Community Board 10's Youth and Education Committee, I was extremely impressed by the projects and the students' abilities to present their work. I was also impressed by the ceremonies, the presentation of arms by the students of PS 146, the performance of choral students of PS 72, and the dance performances of students of MS 448. I also had the opportunity to visit the BioBus, which gave the students and families an opportunity to experience science in a different way. The joy of learning was evident on the faces of the students, families, and teachers who were thrilled to be part of this wonderful event. Community Board 10 looks forward to continuing to work with Dr. Tabaya and all of the schools within our service area. Sincerely, Robert Peter, Chair, Youth and Education Committee. We need the approval of the full board to send any letters out, so I need a motion to approve.
Motion approved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you, one and all. Any opposed? Thank you. Report.
Sure, I'm going to turn it over to Raquel Baez. Raquel chairs the meeting, and she has all the good stuff. And we also have 2 floor resolutions that we have to add to, so I'll come back in at the back end. If I can follow her.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
We have about 4 street activity permits. Event ID 484910, United We Can Make a Difference Health Fair, Saturday, July 27th, 2019. 11 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Setup 9:30 a.m. Breakdown 5 p.m. Bowler Avenue between Stillwell and Hunter Avenues. Contact Marco Sanchez. Second event, ID 485315, Ferry Point Civic Association Block Party. Saturday, August 17, 2019. 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. Setup 1 p.m. Breakdown 10 p.m. Roar Place between Brush Avenue and Hutchison Park, River Parkway. Contact Joanne Summers. Event ID 485678, First Annual Block Party, Saturday, August 3rd, 2019, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Setup 11:30 a.m., breakdown at 8:30 p.m. Edwards Avenue between Ladding Street and Waterbury Avenue. Contact Jennifer Batista. Event ID 489450, Reed Place Block Party, Saturday, August 10th, 2019, 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. Setup 1 p.m., breakdown 9:30 p.m. Reed Place between Country Club Road and Spencer Drive. Contact Vincent Leon. Motion to approve?
Motion to accept.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
against? Any abstentions? So be it. At the meeting, we had several presentations. The first one was a project called HED 564, City Island Subaqueous Water Main. And that is, they're trying to change the pipes to get in fresh water from Pelham Bay Park to City Island. It will not interrupt the traffic. It will not interrupt the businesses, and they assure that anything that will disrupt services, they will be notified with plenty of time, and also they'll notify Matt at the office. The second project is the Vincent Avenue Bulkhead Rehabilitation Project, NYC Economic Development Corporation. This is to redo and remake and restructure the wall at the end of Vincent Avenue. The residents have been informed of this project, however, they still need to be approved. So when they do get approved, they'll come back to our committee. And lastly, we had a presentation from the Jump Bike Program, which is a bicycle program similar to the city program in New York. However, there's no stations for these bikes. These bikes are to be rented via apps, and they are to be, you can leave these bikes at bike stands or designated places by the train station, and similar bus stops and everything. The difference is they don't have to be in any station. They lock automatically after use. It's battery operated, and they've been operating in the Bronx. They just wanted to extend it to Community Board 10, and they wanted a letter of support. So, we also have some representatives from Jump Street.
Yeah, they're here.
They would like to say something?
Kyle or you wanna, Kyle?
Stand here.
You guys bring the bike?
We actually have one right outside.
It's outside.
We're gonna bring it
Would have been a
down.
little tricky getting it in here.
It's outside or what?
It's outside, like out all the way
Is it
outside.
chained up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's chained up too.
Chained up, tightly.
Hi everyone, my name's Kyle Thomas, I'm the Senior Operations Manager for Jump Bikes in New York City. Just a little background on the company, if you guys don't know about Jump, the company was actually started in Brooklyn by a former member of the Department of Transportation in their biking division back in 2010. But we're part of the New York City Dockless Bike Sharing Pilot Program that actually ends at the end of August. One of the big reasons why we're looking for letters of support is because with the pilot's closure, the Department of Transportation is looking to currently expand our Staten Island pilot area, but they have yet to say anything about our Bronx pilot area.
So we're just trying to kind of nudge them along, see what they want to do. We'd like to expand to all of the Bronx, including Community Board 10. I think a lot of people here could use the program pretty nicely. You guys got a lot of attractions around here people might want to take advantage of.
The big thing that we're seeing that is being used for right now is kind of like what we anticipated it would be used for, which is kind of that like first mile, last mile, people using it to connect to the bus, to the subway stations, local businesses, attractions, and so you know, for us it would be a huge shame if we don't get expansion and they like shut the pilot down. And so again, we're trying to you know, hopefully bring it to all of the Bronx and all of New York, but happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. How do you charge these bikes?
So they have removable batteries, and so we have a warehouse right now on Southern Boulevard where we have a handful of workers who are mostly from the Bronx and live in the Bronx, and they are charging the batteries every day. We have you know, technology and applications that they use to identify bikes that are low charge or need a battery swap. They drive to that bike, they swap the battery out, they do a safety check on the bike to make sure mechanically it's ready to be ridden. and then they will lock that bike up to some public infrastructure. If the bike needs any sort of maintenance, they'll throw it in the back of the van, take it back to our warehouse where we have mechanics to work on it, and then they'll redeploy it out into the field.
How long does the battery charge last?
The battery charge lasts about 40 miles. So if it's like not ridden, it lasts for days, depending on like the terrain and the person riding. You know, you'll get 40 miles on it. I rode 15 minutes over here and didn't break a sweat going up and down you guys' hills. So it is an incredible experience, especially with that pedal assist that you get, the boost that you get, that makes it really easy to go.
It helps if you want to ride a bike to work, but you're wearing a suit. You don't want to be sweaty when you
I showed up and
It's
wasn't
sensitive
drenched.
for that.
Alright, so I'm very interested. Tell me from the time that I want to find where they are, is there an app? Can you tell me soup to nuts?
Yeah, so one of the benefits of using, or of the company, so the company was actually purchased by Uber back in April of 2018. So you can just use your Uber app. At the top of the app, you'll see a button where it now says, there's a car and it says ride. If you tap that button, you'll see a bike pop down. You just tap the bike and you use it kind of similarly to the way that you use an Uber app. Immediately on the screen, every bike that's in the network pops up. You can just tap on the one that's closest to you and reserve that bike. It's then reserved for the next 30 minutes for you to get there so that somebody doesn't just rent it underneath you and it's not there when you get there. And then once you get there, you just scan the QR code with your phone, the bike unlocks. And currently it's $2 for the first 30 minutes, and after that it's 7 cents a minute. So total it's, you just scan it with your phone. You scan, there's a QR code on the front of the bike. You scan that, the bike unlocks. $2 for the first 30 minutes, and after that it's only 7 cents a minute. So in total it's only $4 an hour. We also have programs for folks who qualify for, or who are NYCHA housing, SNAP, MTA assistance, and heating and electrical assistance, where if they pay $5 a month, they get 60 minutes of free riding a day for the entirety of the month.
Why dockless?
So dockless allows us to be far more agile than the current docked city bike system. And so say that there's a large scale event that you guys are throwing at a park, and you guys want people to be able to like ride to and from. We're able to to adjust our strategy and put them where people need them, as opposed to having to like install the infrastructure. And if people aren't using them there, you're kind of stuck with that, right? The other thing too is, if you want to ride the bike to the subway station, a lot of times, with like the current dock system, you'll run into what they call a dock block. So you'll get there, every dock station will be full, and then you have to spend the next 5 to 10 minutes trying to find somewhere to park your bike.
John Robert and
I'm just curious, where's the bike waiting to go? The sidewalk, on the street?
Yeah, so the bikes right now are locked up to, whenever any of our staff deploy bikes, they lock them to the bike racks. And throughout the entire app education and things like that, we encourage people to lock them to public infrastructure. We also have teams driving around in vans constantly, taking care of any sort of improperly parked bikes that are reported by customer service, or reported to customer service either by phone or by email, and actioning on those really quickly. But primarily they're attached to public bike racks, things like that.
real quick, is there any discussion for Hold on a second. Bob, and we'll go out to, Tom.
I just want to say, I was at the committee meeting, Eduardo, the commissioner, was there, DOT, he was very much in favor of them actually. The dock list means that they're not going to take up any parking spaces, because basically they're on the sidewalk, tied to a bike rack or some other structure. The units were, again, inexpensive, they were beautifully equipment, it seemed like it was great. I think Kevin took a ride on one. Did Kevin leave us? Yeah. Our bike aficionado, Kevin had a ride on one that night. The committee was in full favor of it. So it was a great program.
Warren.
We thought we'd love to see it in our community.
Bob Warren in full favor.
I'm sorry, I apologize. You didn't want them, that's good.
That's right, because it would be a hazard.
I was at that meeting with Bob, and like Bob said, that these don't take up parking spaces. You don't have to worry about when you get someplace that I have no place to drop it off. They were very inexpensive. When you go out of the area though, like when you're in Community Board 10, you have to go to a place where you're in that area. If you go out, then you get charged another high fee. But they're doing this in other communities, and we're always the last to get something. I think we're supposed to be the first sometimes. We've got beautiful parks, and it would be great to, I mean, in my opinion, just because I'm prejudiced to Community Board 10, but we have parks to go to, all these nice areas that a bike would be perfect for. It's a win-win.
Is there any discussion regarding bike lanes? I know the Bronx doesn't have that, you may have some.
Yeah, so one of the great things that we're able to do is to provide, like, with kind of like the data that we're able to collect on people's routes and things like that, we could provide, like, we could and do provide data to the DOT about like ridership and usage, and that could inform where a potential bike lane would be good, like if there is an area that people ride a lot or things like that, but that hasn't really.
So that means that they're only going to be interested in the discussion based on how many people sign up and based on that area?
I mean, potentially not necessarily. Like, we're in favor of like making the biking experience as safe and accessible as possible, and so anything that we can do to help promote that, we would be in favor of.
What about helmets and reflective clothing? Is it required? Does the city require it, or do you provide any of that?
Yeah, so all the bikes do have the reflector that's required on the back of the bike.
I mean on the person.
Yeah, so our number one concern that we do have is like rider safety, right? And throughout the entire sign of experience, we do encourage the use of helmets and things like that. We do in markets where we do have a contract with the city. We do helmet giveaways, we do safe riding lessons, things like that. We can't make everybody wear a helmet. We encourage everybody to wear a helmet that does ride the bikes.
Okay. That fact alone, that you can't require people to have helmets, you're putting a hazard on the street. That's all I want to say.
Quickly, how many bikes would you be putting in our community?
We haven't done the actual calculation right now. We only have 200 bikes in the central Bronx right now. We would definitely need far more than that in order to service the entirety of the Bronx.
So there's not really an issue with the people stealing them because you have their credit card information and all of that?
Yeah, all the bikes have GPS. We've learned a lot from operating both in the Bronx and Staten Island. Our operations are pretty seamless now. We're able to track them pretty well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you so much. And now, on the resolution for jump bike. Resolved at the recommendation of Municipal Service Committee of the Bronx Community Board Number 10 that a letter of support be sent to the Commissioner and Deputy Commissioner of the New York City Department of Transportation supporting the expansion of the jump bike program into Community Board 10, and that this be forwarded to the full board for approval. Motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Second?
Hello, hi. I just want to ask, can kids, children, are they able to get these bikes? What the age?
18 and older.
18 and older. All right, thank you.
So we had a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
4.
Five.
And one
Five.
Five.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Five.
There's like no. Great.
Any abstention? Okay. Motion carries, yes?
I just want to go back to the City Island water main issue.
Yes.
Some clarifying.
Yes.
You had mentioned that there would be no interruption in service. It's not
Some interruption.
Right, so I
and
want
they
to
would-
clarify for everyone else
Yeah.
that any interruption won't happen until the fall of next year.
Correct.
But there will be some traffic interruption, but there'll always be at least one lane open. There'll be times where they have to stop one lane and allow the other. And the other thing is there will be rare but occasional water shut-offs in certain sections where you'll be notified prior.
Right. That's why I mentioned that they would notify in case they had any changes to the community, and they would notify Matt. And all this project is going to be under the water. Nothing above.
Hopefully.
Okay, that ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Raquel. So we got two other resolutions to go on. One is the Lions Avenue Block Party. I don't know if Mr. Enriquez is here. Talk about this. Yeah, line it. Want to give us a quick 10-second overview?
Yeah, this will be our 7th annual block party. And the reason why I'm late is because I'm missing the work, my deadline. So we have to be consistent meetings to represent.
Great.
This will be our 7th year.
There's been no problems in the past? Always been approved. So, anyone have any questions for him? All right, resolution is. Resolution is resolved, the following street activity permit be approved. Event ID 492-123, Lions Avenue Annual Block Party, Sunday, August 18th, 1 to 8, set up 12:30, breakdown 8:30, Lion Avenue between Glebe Avenue and Castle Hill. Contact Joanna Enriquez. All in favor? Motion? Second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Any recusals? Unanimous. Well done. Yeah. We also have a floor motion here. Last November, Bob Leader, who was the principal at Lehman High School, passed away at the age of 79. The council members, Mark Jonah and Richie Torres, have put a motion forward to create a street overlay on East Tremont Avenue between Erickson Place and Little League Place in honor of Mr. Leader. So we are looking to send a letter of recommendation and support. So resolved that the recommendation of the Municipal Service Committee, the board issue a letter of support to council members Mark Jonah and Richie Torres for a street overlay on East Tremont Avenue between Erickson Place and Little League Place in honor of Principal Robert Leader, who served our community for 27 years as principal of Lehman High School, and that this be forwarded to the full board for its approval.
Motion to accept.
We have a second?
On the question.
Yeah.
Wasn't there an overlay, for Officer Pizzullo who died 9/11, is that the same area?
On the other side of the street.
It's on the
other
side.
side of the street? All right, I wanna make sure.
And that wouldn't interfere. Good question, though. Thank you.
Just one quick comment, if I may.
Sure, Bobby.
The reason Councilman Torres is involved in this, for those of you who don't know, he was a student there under Robert Leader, and he led their law team to victory as sophomore, junior, and senior. And no sophomore had ever done that before, from what I understand. So he really changed his life. Bob Leader was a huge influence on our Councilman Torres, and I'm sure he's very happy to be able to sponsor this. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
COI.
Not with the interest.
All right. Almost unanimous. We almost did it. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Yes. We have,
I'm gonna do Health and Human Services from May 23rd, and then Mary Jane chaired the June meeting. So I'm just gonna tell you, the May 23rd meeting was very lengthy. We had several speakers, they were great, but there's nothing here that isn't self-explanatory, so I don't wanna take up any more of your time. I know everybody wants to hear the June meeting, so I'm gonna pass this over to Mary Jane. Thank you.
I'm really excited to report that we had a fantastic meeting.
Take the mic. She's like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
You can clip it on. Just clip it on your shirt.
Just hold it. As I said, we had a really fantastic meeting. It was, thank you very much. It was very well attended, and I know that most of, the attendees that were at that meeting and that were here are gone. But I just want to thank them, because when the community gets involved, that's when things move forward. So I do thank you if anybody, is still here. So it was very well attended, and I think it was very productive as well. The end result was what really matters, and it had a great end result. So we had Zoraida Diaz, who is the regional director of OASIS, and Bob had suggested at the May meeting that she come, and I'm really glad that you did that, because what she had to say really answered a lot of questions. Everyone, was a little bit fuzzy on exactly what pertains to an 822 license. And she told us, in not so many words, that it is expected by OASIS that when someone receives an 822 license, that medication would be part of their treatment. She didn't say that they have to, but it is expected. So that was something that I think, cleared up in a lot of people's minds. She also said that it is expected that they work hand in hand with the community, so that they do, come and talk to us and find out what we're feeling about applicants for an 822. And that's also a very good thing. She also said that OASIS does not seek out applicants, which is something that a lot of people were concerned about, but that the applicant goes to them. So, that's also, I think, a very good thing. So she really was very helpful. And then we had the applicant for an 822 license for Carnegie Hill Institute. And it was, it was really very interesting. She said that they were going to apply for an 822, not dispense medication, but that they would prescribe medication, and that they would be doing mostly counseling services. She also stated that she'd do counseling service for people with substance abuse and other problems as well, like domestic violence. But, in our research, we discovered that they have another site that's on the Upper East Side, and they do counseling and they do dispense medicine. So I think that most licenses, eventually, if they don't start out dispensing medicine, they eventually do that, because that's what is expected. That saddens me, and it is my opinion, and maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but there are so many other ways to help somebody with an opioid addiction rather than substituting one medicine for another medicine. It just is not working, and my heart goes out to families that have people that are addicted to opioids. It happens for a lot of reasons. It's nothing to be ashamed of. We need to help them, but we need to help them in the right way. So that's what this community is trying to do. The program director for Carnegie Hill had promised Matt that if she was met with community opposition, she would withdraw the proposal and not buy the property. She was asked at the meeting, being that there was a whole room full of opposition, if she would keep her word, and she refused to answer. So not answering spoke 1,000 words, really. She didn't have to answer by not answering, so we knew that. So when, I'm sorry.
The doctor pulled back. Anyways,
Well, I'll tell you, yeah, I'll say at the end. So the floor was open for questions after that, and the consensus in our community, the board members, as well as the community, felt that although we need to, help people with opioid dependence, it's not needed in this community because of several reasons. One is that we have the Montefiore Wellness Center, and the Montefiore Wellness Center services our area with the exact same counseling that they were going to require. Also, it's sandwiched between a daycare center for autistic children and a learning center. So, and then you have Lehman right down the block. So it really is not an appropriate place. Where the Wellness Center on Waters Place although there are problems there, at least it is not in a residential area. It's affiliated with Montefiore. It is appropriate. So we tried to convince her of that. At the meeting, we didn't think we did, but what happened was the next day, as Matt said, the Dr. Golden withdrew, his property for sale. Now, we don't know really exactly what happened, but the right thing happened for whatever reason. So we have the two resolutions. So I guess I'll read the resolutions now. Resolved at the recommendation of the chairperson of Bronx Community 10 to write a letter to our state officials asking them to draft legislation similar to that of adult entertainment venues that will prohibit the opening of substance treatment facilities near all schools and public parks, and that it be forwarded to the full board for approval. At the committee level, this received unanimous vote with no abstention. So, do I have a motion to accept? Second. All in favor? I'm sorry, a question?
Point of clarification.
Sure.
The issue with comparing this to adult entertainment venues is really apples and oranges. The adult entertainment bar that happened under the Giuliani administration was a zoning resolution that prevented adult entertainment in any other place other than an industrial area. So, it's not a state legislation, it's a New York City zoning resolution that you would want to propose. If you want to do this similar to the way the adult entertainment business was banned from residential areas.
So
it's inappropriate to call it a state legislation.
can we just take that part out?
Is there an amendment? Yes, I would amend it to say that similar to the adult entertainment zoning resolution, we would ask that the city council propose a zoning resolution to bar substance abuse facilities in any area other than an industrial area.
So, go ahead.
So there's an amendment on the floor. Do we want to, is there a question on the amendment?
I think she wants to add to that amendment.
Will you accept in addition to your amendment?
Let me hear it.
Can we add churches to that also?
I can't.
Can we add schools, churches?
No.
It's an industrial area, so the industrial area, obviously, it's not impossible to have a church there, but it's unlikely to have a church.
Because he said industrial.
Well, I have a question. This kind of a program belongs in a hospital setting. So is a hospital considered an industrial location?
No.
Okay, so then,
Well, I'm just saying, if you want to go along with the adult entertainment theme, then it's a zoning in industrial areas.
okay, well, this is saying in a similar light to the adult entertainment,
Similar to that.
But if we really care, we really want
Hold on
to
a
stop
second,
it.
John had his hand up first, and then I'll follow you.
So why even put in the adult equation? Let's
take that
create
out.
something to state that we want to reach out to the New York City legislation to deny them opening up in a residential area.
So then you're not talking about a zoning change.
No, we, can we just remove similar to that of adult entertainment venues? And just, I'm sorry.
If our goal is to get opioid treatment centers out of residential areas, which I think we all are in favor of, I think the best way to do that would be doing what you proposed, because if you have it only in industrial areas, by doing that, it will never be in a residential area. So if we want that, we should go with the industrial. That makes the most sense.
A hospital could be across the street from a apartment building, but a school might not be. So if your concern is really children, then just say that. You want to keep it a certain amount of feet, yards,
Almost
whatever.
like a license,
From schools, churches,
Parks.
whatever, make it specific, because like I said, Montefiore could be across the street from your house, right? But the school might not be, so I guess we're looking at yards and feet and such. So what is it that you guys envision? Has to be specific.
Let's go back to the original motion, please. Can we hear it one more
Janine
time?
has a question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So, I agree with, I'm sorry, I don't know names, but the young lady that just left from the
Mary Jane or Taisha?
Taisha. About saying you want to keep this around for children because, you know, I don't know, I haven't been here that long, and I don't mean to insult nobody, but everything sounds like you think of people as murderers, rapists, and robbers. That if people have a substance abuse problem, you're gonna rape, murder, and rob your folks. Now, I agree with the children thing, but the industrial thing, having folks in my own family and go through things, nobody wants to go to the river where it stinks by the back, by the door, to get help. So I think that we all should consider some of these things. Sometimes I understand your fear, but sometimes fear is false evidence appearing real. So I understand what you're saying about taking away from the children, but saying stuff like send them to industry, you don't even know if you have people in this audience who have substance abuse, and you're telling them the only place that's good for you is by the river. So I think that your recommendation of saying that we should keep it, I don't know if it was a recommendation, I'm new, I'll learn the word sooner or later, but the thing that you said about having away from the children is better than us sitting here saying, we'll put them by the river in the boat, industrial. Where is the industrial area in the Bronx? Where, about Hunts Point? I don't know.
Rush Avenue.
Very accessible by public transportation. Do not be out of the way. Not a word.
Anyway, I made my point to you and
Back to Mary Jane. Back to, one more question from Colonel Chip?
I attended that meeting last night, 2 nights ago, and I want to compliment Mary Jane. One of the most successful, well-organized, well-disciplined occasion, how she ran the meeting. So,
Thank you
very
so
good.
much.
But I also, I hate to put in a lot of time. You don't need to, just get it. But I'm a retired United States Army colonel. That meeting was a total defeat and devastation of that organization. And she wouldn't admit the defeat. And then I sort of asked her, did you ever try to an alternate location? She said, no. I said, would you be willing to accept the community board helping you look for an alternate location? And she sort of said yes. But then she asked me, how do you do? I said, well, you come to the board and we'll see what we can do. So,
Okay, so while we're on that, I just wanted to clarify part of this in the minutes where you said Ms. George refused to answer the question. To be fair to her, she didn't refuse to answer. She explained that the owner couldn't make it because of an emergency, and she was not able to answer on his behalf.
But she told Matt
Tom,
it was.
let me clarify this conversation
Yes.
I had with her, so we're all clear. She was calling me several times to schedule a meeting for Tuesday night. She kept reiterating to me in our phone conversations that if she saw or met opposition to her proposal, she would pull back. Now, I asked that at the committee because I wanted that public and not everyone just trust my word for it. As you guys saw at the committee, she chose to say that she was no longer eligible to make or give us an answer on it.
No, I understand that. I just, when it says she refused to answer, there's a little bit of a harsher connotation than what really happened. She felt she was not able to answer.
It was above her pay grade.
Right, basically.
Okay, on point of order, we have a resolution on the floor, and this is not relative to the resolution.
Back to Mary Jane?
All right, you know, we've had a lot of suggestions. It's really hard to, you know, change the resolution here. My suggestion is this, to eliminate, similar to that of adult entertainment venues, and to add churches. And then people will have to make their decision on if they want to approve it or not.
I guess I have one more question. Tom, maybe you can help me with this one. This resolution was written by the Chairman Sullivan. Is he the only one who can accept the change? Otherwise, we can't change it, right?
The maker of the motion, has to accept changes.
It's not a motion is here, we have to vote on it as is.
So,
Or we can table it.
or you can vote on it, and then you can, no, you can vote on this, whether yea or nay, and then Mary Jane can
Bring it back.
bring
Bring up a
another
floor
floor resolution.
Right, in September, but we, we're up for a break now, so.
Yeah, no, I
Maybe
understand.
that's,
I just wanted some clarification on
Yes.
the.
so I'll read it again and then we'll vote?
You gotta
Okay.
vote on it as is,
Right.
because the maker of the motion isn't here.
Right, okay. Resolved, at the recommendation of the chairperson of Bronx Community Board Number 10, to write a letter to the state officials asking them to draft legislation similar to that of adult entertainment venues that will prohibit the opening of substance abuse treatment facilities near all schools and public parks, and that it be forwarded to the full board for approval. Motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Keep your hands up.
Wait, just,
So, just to be
we're
clear,
voting for the change, right?
You have to vote
As
no on this
Why don't we just table it, cause we're gonna.
Because we've tabled it twice already.
Voting,
This has been tabled
you're
twice
voting
already.
now, so you can't
But
do
you're
that
not
now.
happy with what you're voting on,
Well,
so.
we all discussed, like.
Vote against this.
Okay, some people are, some people aren't. Excuse me. They're voting. Come on, let's continue.
All in favor?
Question is ended.
hands up for all in favor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Tom, they think we fit.
Clarify, if you vote yes on this, we can't vote to change.
Right, if we're voting yes, we're voting to uphold.
You know that, come on.
So we're
Opposed?
Wait, let's just
It's silly.
explain it again, just for everybody, when you're voting yes, it's basically as is, no changes, nothing, nothing,
Right.
until
And we
it's
wanna
changed.
change.
And we wanted it changed, so that means that if you wanted to change
now,
it,
it's
say
voting
no.
as the resolution stands. If we don't vote and we table it, we can change it.
No, no, no.
You
You
can't
can't
vote
Is it yes or no?
If you vote it down, then you
Then we
have
can
to
change
put it back into the.
Right.
So if you vote no, then you can change it.
Right.
In September, though, remember that.
Fine.
So we vote it down no now, and then bring it back in
Yes,
September.
okay. So we're gonna do this once more?
Yes.
Motion to accept?
Second.
Second? All in favor?